Hi there, I'm Josh, and in this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to turn on and use our Blue Studio. Now I know the Blue Studio can seem a little intimidating. It's our largest one, there's a lot of buttons, but it's really a straightforward process that you learn just a little more each time you use it. And hopefully this video will help demystify the process even more. So let's go to the control room. Here we are in the control room. Please pardon the blue lighting. First off, we have our big media production rack here. The first thing we're gonna do is go down to this computer down here. This is kind of the brain of our whole production system. Just gonna give that a little click up. We'll hear all these fans and lights start flashing. Beep, 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 beep. The computer will take a few minutes to come online, but while it's booting up, we'll also want to flip this switch here. This will kind of power up a bunch of our other auxiliary production related devices. Power for the TV monitor over here, power for our recording monitors, some things like the DVD player that we're not using a whole lot these days. So once again, more things booting up. The computer, when it turns on, will start immediately booting into our BroadcastPix switcher software. It's a bit of a process. So first it's gonna pop up this welcome dialog. Just close the welcome screen there at the bottom. It'll go away. Press OK here, this will go away. It'll take another few seconds and it'll start loading in our whole switcher layout system. So boom, everything's clicked into place. Nothing a whole lot to see right now just because all of the cameras are off. Next, we can come back over to this production rack and we're gonna hold down the power buttons on these two Asia Key Pro hard drive recorders. It'll turn these on. It'll also turn the monitors above them on. And now it'll take a couple seconds to load all the way up to 100%. These are coming online, which is awesome. And with that, we are good over on the video side for right now. We still have a few more things to do in the control room before we're all done. We're gonna need to turn on our soundboard. If we're feeding any audio back from the snake in there, we will need this guy on. So what we're gonna do for that, there's a tiny little power button. It's probably hard to see, but it's kind of in between XLR input 3 and 4. That's how I find it with my finger. It's just a little button right back here. So I'm gonna press that down. It'll give you a loud boom to know that, let you know that there's audio. There's still one more switch we need to flip if we want to get the audio from this self-contained system back over to our recording, and that switch is right here. This is an audio rack. Back in the day, we used to run a lot of different things through it. Now we basically just run the soundboard through it, so that's why there's a second switch. Please remember this. We have some recent labels. Need to flip top switch for audio. One over here on the recorders letting you know that no levels, your recordings won't have audio. Gonna be doing a lot of cool stuff in here. You don't wanna record for an hour only to find out you have no audio on your recording. It sounds improbable, but hey, it's happened to us, it could happen to you. So just to recap, let me walk you through one more time all the switches you need to turn on the control room. It'll be this one down here to turn on the production system itself. This one up here to turn on some of our auxiliary devices. These two here to bring up the monitors and have the recorders all ready to get firing. And then over here in audio land, the button in the back of the soundboard, kind of pain to reach guy down there. And the one that you can't forget, this switch up here for the audio rack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 switches flipped and you're just about ready to make a production. I think with that, we can move over into the Blue Studio proper and start turning on some cameras, some lights, who knows? Let's do it. All right, let's head into the Blue Studio proper. What would a TV studio be without its cameras? Right now we have these Sony cameras. They're meant for TV production. The main power switch for this Sony camera is gonna be right here on the side. I'm gonna flip it away from me. We'll see a light flash over on the side and then this display light up. If we look back in the control room, we're not actually seeing anything right now. That's because of just a little thing we in the business like to call lens caps. So pop this guy out. A great place to put it is down here at the bottom of the tripod. We'll make a mental note not to forget to put that back later when we're done. But now, if you look back through the glass and see in the control room, we're getting this camera input in. The only other thing we'll need to do is we'll need to turn on this preview monitor here. Press that button, that'll load up and it'll let the camera person be able to see exactly what their camera's doing. And it'll also have a little tally light at the top to let them know when the control room cuts to this camera, this will turn red. We can get a couple cameras online. We typically have 3 here in the studio. Then after that, we will need to figure out lighting. Now lighting happens over here with our lighting smart fade controller. This is one of the systems in here that I will say you're gonna learn a lot more each time you start using it. You won't be a pro with this overnight unless lighting's really your cup of tea, but a few sessions using this and you honestly might know as much about it as I do. So we press the power button here, it loads up and everything turns on. From there, we see we have these numbers on the screen. It's all really simple labeled system. On this grid, we have, think of these as individual lights, the lighting bank. This button here will take us from 1 to 13. If I press it again, it'll go from 25 to 37. If I go up here, it'll go from 49 to 61. Press that again, it'll go from 73 to 85. Each number on the board corresponds to a light we have up in the grid. Everything's numbered. There's some numbers that don't have a corresponding light, but certainly we can look at these 3 in front of us, 57, 58, and 59. Turning those on, I'm gonna go and make sure I'm selecting the number range that's going to have those. Looks like the 50s aren't exactly printed on the main kind of bottom label of the fader, but they're kind of 49 is over here on the left, so I'm gonna search through that. Okay, so 57, 58, and 59. I'm gonna bring all 3 of these up. We're not actually getting any level going on. That's because this lighting board is similar to a soundboard in that you can set the individual levels of the individual inputs, in this case, lights, but there's still sort of a main or like master level that we need to turn up for any of those lights to actually work. That's gonna be over here on the side, the independence. I believe it's just the one on the right we need to raise, but call me superstitious, I like to raise both of them. So I'm gonna raise these up, and as I do that, you can actually see that the 3 lights I already pulled up are gonna show their levels on the little meter here, and the lights actually beneath the faders are gonna turn green to let me know that they're up. So generally you'll turn this on, you'll leave the master kind of all the way up, and then you can manipulate your individual lights from there. You can, of course, check out the max by raising the faders all the way up, but you can also, from being down, just press the button themselves and it'll show you what it looks like when it's maxed all the way out. So that's gonna be something like this. You can see it goes from nothing to all the way up. 57, 58, 59, kind of a basic fill light, but we've got plenty of other interesting lights up here in the grid. Definitely just recommend experimenting, finding out what you like, what you don't like. We do have a labeled system over here that actually shows you what all of the lights are and what all the numbers are in the room. I don't know, I'm not really a lighting person. It's sort of something I have to feel out each time. Hope that helps demystify the grid a little bit more. That's kind of the basic things of the studio. I'm just gonna go through and mention some other things that maybe I've left out. I wouldn't recommend having the program monitor on for all of your productions. Sometimes we can find it can be a little distracting, especially if you're working with newer talent that might not be used to being filmed and seeing a version of themselves. We have this computer here in program, so we're just seeing the computer screen, but normally this would show you the whole switched output, cameras, everything there. So depending on your production, it can be useful to have that on. Here in the studio, we've got plenty of things here in the wings. We've got the green screen curtain, which you can certainly wheel out. We've got a pull-down screen for the projector, which is mounted from there. Using the projector in the studio, definitely doable, but something you'll want to check in with a staff member, maybe even me, before you do it. And then I mentioned we have this snake for audio. Instead of running all of our audio cables all the way back to the soundboard in there, we're running one cable from the snake to the soundboard. We have these inputs that we can go that correspond to the inputs there. Some of them are taped over, but definitely a lot of solid inputs here. So, you know, if I'm miking someone up, I'm gonna clip the mic on them, plug their microphone into the snake, remember which number I've plugged it into, then go back on the soundboard and try to dial that in a little more.